I'm going to solve a couple of inequalities here, and the instructions I give in my classes will have an inequality, and I'll also put on there graph the solution on a number line and write it in interval notation. And write it in interval notation. Alright, so this is what I'm going to ask for if you're my student. And I can't tell you how many times I've graded homework papers and tests where students solved a problem like this and yet they didn't write the answer with an interval notation, or they didn't graph it, or they didn't do both. I don't know why. They didn't follow the simple directions. And but you lose points that way. So please be alert on those things. All right, now to solve it, as we've seen, inequalities solve just like regular ordinary equations. The only thing we have to be alert to are those situations where you change the inequality symbol. So my first step is going to be to distribute up here. So I have 2x minus 6, the 2 multiplies both terms, less than, and here do we do 4 minus 3 first, or do we multiply 3 inside the parentheses? And the order of operations say to multiply before subtract. So we're going to distribute actually a negative 3 inside the parentheses and then combine it with the 4. So I have 4 and then negative 3 times x, negative 3x, and negative 3 times 1, negative 3. And I'll go ahead and combine terms on the right side. 2x minus 6 less than, these will combine, 1 minus 3x. So hopefully this is a pretty routine type of problem for you to solve here. Simple linear equation. I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And I've got 5x minus 6 is less than 1. I'll add 6 to both sides. 5x is less than 7. And now we're going to divide by 5 to finish. And I'm dividing by a positive, so that does not change the inequality. So I end up with x is less than 7/5. Okay, so there's the inequality notation answer to this problem. X is less than 7/5. And now I'm going to graph it on a number line and write it in interval notation. So let me make room for it. I'm going to leave our answer here. Now, where is 7/5 on the number line? I think it's about right there. So you notice I don't go to a lot of trouble to mark a bunch of numbers on a number line. I don't think that's really necessary. Everybody knows what a number line looks like. It just shows the integers normally. But this is a fraction. I'll put it anywhere I want to. I'll put it in the middle. All right, so x is less than 7/5. So I use open or closed circle here. I use an open circle, and I shade to the left. X is less than means shade to the left. And then for interval notation, I'm going to say that x belongs to the interval from parentheses, negative infinity, comma, 7/5, and then I'll close the bracket. Close the parentheses, not close the bracket. So, I'm not too satisfied with my parentheses. I'm going to kind of polish that up a little bit. All right, there we go. So it's done. We solved it, graphed it, and wrote an interval notation. So, I want you to learn interval notation because we use it again in this course. And like I mentioned earlier, you'll could see it in other math classes if you take more math. So it's just a good idea to see this. Now, I'll erase the board and we'll do another problem. Here's our other example. Let's solve minus 2x minus 7 greater than or equal to 5 times parentheses x minus 2 and then plus 4. So I think you'll find this to be pretty routine also. But again, I really want to hammer home the the rules about inequalities as far as when you switch the inequality sign symbol. And risk of sounding like a broken record. I like to repeat that a few times because get it in your head, because I see a lot of students forget those rules when they solve these problems. They forget them probably because they haven't practiced. And they think, well, I can do these. And then they forget about the rule for switching inequality symbols. So, which is a pretty serious mistake when you're solving inequalities. You have to get the right direction. All right, so I'm going to distribute on the right side. So I have negative 2x minus 7 is greater than or equal to 5x minus 10 plus 4. And I'll combine terms on the left side. So negative 10 plus 4 is negative 6. And let's see, subtract 5x from both sides. So I have minus 7x minus 7 greater than or equal to negative 6. I'll add 7 to both sides. Minus 7x is greater than or equal to 1. And here's our moment of truth. To finish, I need to divide by negative 7. And because now I'm dividing by a negative, I have to switch my inequality. There's that reflection again, dividing or multiplying by a negative. So the negative 7's cancel. I have x is less than or equal to negative 1/7. All right, so all routine, I think, except for this one step is new to us with the inequalities. All right, so let's graph the solution and write it in interval notation. So where is negative 1/7 on the number line? Well, I think it's about right there. Okay, so close enough. And less than or equal to is to the left again, but this time it includes the endpoint here, negative 1/7. So I need to use a closed circle, shade to the left. And how does this go in interval notation? X belongs to, and again it's going to be a negative infinity since it goes to the left side, parentheses, negative infinity, comma, and then negative 1/7, and this time I use a bracket, closed bracket. So there's the whole result.